What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we talk college football with real fans. I'm Devin, excited to be here tonight, man. It is hate week. Some like to call it dislike week, but I'm sticking with hate week, man, because it's in our blood as Buckeye fans since I was a little kid that it is hate the scum to the north. That's what this week is, man. I am beyond excited. Everything I'm doing this week, I got a little extra pep in my step because I know this game is coming. I want revenge so bad on these guys with everything that has led up to this game. And I got a special guest coming on tonight to talk about that with. He's a big-time Buckeye fan, the fastest growing YouTuber on YouTube. His show has absolutely exploded. It's been awesome to see. We started our show around the same time, and his has just absolutely exploded. So I look up to him, what he does on his channel. But before I get him on here, guys, I need you to do something for me. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button as well. Super chats are open. We're going to dive into it. We're going to dive into the importance of the game. Is the game still as important as it used to be? What are we going to do different from what we did last year? Is there a different Ryan Day? What do the Buckeyes need to do to win? And what can we do to shut these other fans up, man? Everybody, I'm going to bring in my dude, JUCK. What's up, JUCK?
Yo, how we doing, Dev?
Good, everybody? Man. How are you?
See all the friends in the chat. How we doing, everybody? Good to see you tonight.
Yeah, they all in there. Pretty excited, JUCK. I was obviously hoping to get you on the Friday show where I'm calling it the Hate Week banter. We got a lot of people coming on, Ohio State, all kind of different people, but scheduling conflicts won't allow that. But I'm glad to get you on here tonight. You came on the show last year. My 6-hour live stream gave a couple takes on the game. So let's do it again, man. But first,
they were wrong.
Yes. Every one of my takes last year about this game was so wrong. It's not even funny, bro. But, bro, how's your week going as a YouTuber? Pretty popular in the Ohio State realm, college football realm. Are your accounts getting blown up with? I refer to them as scum fans. That's what I'm going to be calling them tonight. But what's that like, man? You experiencing that yet? We're pretty close to the game, so are you getting some trolls on your shows and your socials and stuff?
Yeah, definitely, quite a bit of. I mean, it's been going for a couple of weeks now, kind of ramping up to that. I think I did a video about Bryce Underwood not too long ago, and there was another one. Anytime you reference that in the thumbnail, it gets more and more of them, and they always keep coming back to tell you what they think of you. So, yeah, they're kind of omnipresent at this point, really, on every video. I've always got a handful of dislikes. I know it's from them. They just see it and dislike it. Because who dislikes a YouTube video, Dev? Who does that? Like,
yeah, I don't.
Move along if you don't like it.
I never have.
I've never done that in my life, man.
Never hit. If I don't like it, I just don't hit like.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't go hit dislike. You know what I'm saying? Bro, you know what I just realized? I just realized that when I first started YouTube and I watched your show, I saw your background and I was like, dude, that's fire. That's different than any other background I've seen on any other shows. And obviously, I'd be lying if I didn't say you sparked something in me. And now look, I can see my background compared to yours. It's just not it, bro. I'm not there yet.
You're doing great, bro. It looks fantastic. Yeah,
I think I need to scoot my desk out so you can see more of my wall. Yours is fire, man. You've obviously been a Buckeye fan for a long, long time. You've been through several.
Devin, to have a nice background, don't you? It makes you feel better when you're on it. You know, makes you feel more.
Yeah. I'm not into the green screens. I'm not into like the one Ohio State. Nah, dude, I'm not done with mine. I promise you that. Like it's going to keep building and building, but we'll get there one day. But we hear, JUCK. We hear last year, obviously, the game did not go our way, and it brought about an interesting divide in Buckeye fans, right? There was one side that said, hey, kind of the season's over. We lost to these guys. We have to beat them. This is the most important game of the year. Then there was another side that's saying, hey, game really doesn't matter. We got the national title to look forward to now. And obviously, hindsight is whatever the saying is. And we see that we did win the national title. And now it brings up the conversation. Man, how important is this game still, right? Because you have different perspectives to look at. You have the perspective that, dude, it's no longer if we lose, we don't get in the playoffs. So there's that side of it where, yes, it does have less meaning there and that side of it. Then you have the rivalry side of it, the fan side of it, which kind of is the lifeblood of college football, what us fans think, what us fans want, what we do. And that brings about the conversation, hey, man, where should this game fall on our list as Buckeye fans of what we want to see? Or can you even have it on the same list as national title or mission game? Or does it have to be one or the other? What are we at here? I like your take on this. I think we're pretty similar on takes, but I'll let you go first. Tell me what your thoughts on this are. We'll kind of dive into this just a little bit.
Well, the first thing I would say is that I look at these as two separate pursuits now. And it all used to be kind of tied 1-1, right? If you were going to win the national championship, you had to win that game. So it was tied in together. Now, albeit we didn't always have to win that game. Just keep in mind, in 2022, we lost the game and still could have won the national championship had we beat Georgia. And that was before the 16-team playoff. But I didn't hear anybody back then saying the game was meaningless or meant less. But when we talk about, when people say that it means less because you can lose it and still make it to the playoffs, I say to them, how many times do you remember in your life Ohio State playing that game where they didn't have a chance to make it to the BCS or to the college football playoff? There were plenty. And that game didn't mean any less to you those years, but there was nothing else on the line those years. Well, that's the same deal. There wasn't any postseason on the line, but you didn't go into it and say it means less this year. Hopefully they had something on the line and you could spoil it for them. And that would be the next best thing. But when I look at the game, as a fan, you got two things. You got the value that it has towards the postseason play, right? The value that each one individual game has in your 12-game season has declined because you got two mulligans. So every single game means a little bit less. It's valued a little bit less. But the meaning that is attached to that game is a different kind of meaning. And to us, it's the kind of meaning that can literally be the difference of, a successful year or an unsuccessful year. For instance, if we were to have a down year, or let's say the Big Ten, it's getting harder and maybe 2 loss seasons become more the norm. And once in a while, a 3-loss season, and maybe sometimes you don't make the playoffs. You never know. We could trend down a little bit. Who knows? I don't see that happen. But if it did, like winning that game and you didn't make the playoffs would still feel like somewhat of a successful season. And it will still always be one of those 3 goals. By the way, to me, that Big Ten championship is a distant third in those 3 goals. Like the Big Ten championship means very little to me. As we sit down in our studio here with memorabilia all over these walls, I don't have a single thing here that says Big Ten champions, and we've been it a whole lot of times in my life. It's just not something that really matters that much to me, though it is one of the goals. It is the national championship in the game, and it's 2 separate things to me, and I don't need to sacrifice what that game means to me. And I'll tell you what, Dev, when we look at the list of everything that has gone on in the last, I was talking on the Buckeye Huddle board last night, and somebody said the game's lost its luster, and he cited the playoff thing, and it just like I almost blew my stack. I'm like, bro, the Stallion situation, the fan base like infuriated with Ryan Day and the things his family went through. Like this has never felt in my lifetime, and social media magnifies it, so hateful. It's never felt like this. It has never been so contentious. they've never been so bold and all over the place. And I can feel like the nastiness I feel towards them now as a 46-year-old man. I haven't felt this kind of nastiness since I was like 14 years old. You know what I mean? Like full of just getting used to the testosterone flowing through my blood. And it's just never been nastier. So to act like, because the playoff, you know, you're already in the playoffs if you lose, so it doesn't matter. To me, it's almost like this preemptive coping. You know, if we lose, I'm going to put it out here right now, right in front, that it really doesn't matter. And I find that to be very soft behavior from a man. So I don't like that at all.
Yeah. Yeah, man, dude, I have been, because of everything that's gone on, right? The Stallion stuff, the flat, all the stuff. There's been so much drama the past couple years with everything. Bro, I've been so back and forth with how I feel about this conversation right here. But I'm going to tell you something. When this week hit this year, I got reminded, right, how important this game is to me, how much of a fan, how much luster it has for me. And I just separate the two. It's not one or the other for me. This game means everything. And I'll put it to you like this, right? What is Ryan Day's goals? What is the team's goals? As a fan, I have the same goals, the same exact goals. And they are pretty dead set on, number one, beat Scum. Okay. Then they got the Big Ten title game. And then they got the national title. That's what the order is in. And I think last year after the game, you see, when they did what they did, they lost so much respect from me. Like, still, I could go on a big rant right now that it's really hard for me to say this game means a lot, because I don't think they deserve that. Does that make sense? Like, I don't want to give them that. I don't want to give them the satisfaction of knowing that this game means a lot, because I think they spit in the face in all of college football. I really do, with what they did. And that has nothing to do with the punishment. It's more of, hey, what they did, how they reacted to it, everything like that. But man, when this week came around, and I know the history, been reading, a lot more on the history of this game, and I see, the fans, the Buckeye fans, the Buckeye players, Ryan Day's demeanor, it reminds me how big this game is to me. And to act like, for me, I said for the longest time, hey, we won the national title last year. I don't really care that we lost to Scum. To me, that's kind of a crazy thing to say. It's crazy that I spoke those words at one point in time. But like I said, was going through so much with all these emotions, with everything that was going on, that I am now reminded how important this game is. This game is up there to me. If you put it to you like this, everybody wants to do, hey, would you rather a national title or would you rather beat Scum? That's not the correct way to put that question. It'd be like asking you, hey, would you rather win a national title and lose to Scum or win a national title and beat Scum? I bet you every Buckeye fan is going to say, hey, let's win both. Let's shut it off there. That's the answer that everybody would say. Hey, why not? Let's go win both. And that's what it is. So to me, I am still just as stoked for this game as I ever was. There is that little bit of me that has lost respect towards them in the rivalry, but it's hard to put in the words, right, what that means. All I know is what I feel now coming into this week, coming into this game. And boy, does it feel like I'm like the week of a national title game to me. I mean, dude, last year I went to the national title game. I was super excited. I'm getting those same feelings now, even though not that much is, from a national perspective, there's not that much on the line. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's the fact that you're an Ohio State fan. Nobody else will understand. Nobody else will get it. Everybody else will say, man, national title is the most important. I would say that it is, but like when I'm sitting here in this moment, I get the same feelings of how big this game is. Like, man, I'm pumped to watch it, bro. Like, super excited. And I was super excited to watch the national title game last year. So, I mean, that's my initial take on that. I don't know if you want to add anything towards.
I understand your point of view on, and I wrestled with this feeling as well. The disrespect what they did, but even more than that, the way they reacted. And I was just reminded of it again when Michigan State got popped for something that literally everybody's doing now, paying recruits to come on visits, and they literally get a bigger punishment than Scum does. And the way they gloated about it, and it just is like, it's true. What you say is true. They don't deserve this. This is something that is special. It's something that being a part of it is huge for both states. It's huge for both universities financially. They both make a ton of money off of it. It's great for both schools recruiting. They don't deserve this. They really don't. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, it's true, but you just got to grit and bear it because it is what it is. Because when you get to Saturday morning of game day and you're pacing around waiting for that son of a gun to start, man, and people invite me to parties, man, I'm not going to a party. I'm a basket case during that game, bro. Like people are saying, are you streaming? I can't stream. I won't entertain you. What are you just going to watch me wig out and sweat? Like I literally ran on a treadmill the whole game one year. Just ran. The nervous energy is crazy, man. And no, but come game day, when you see those uniforms, I mean, it's like nothing else, dude. It's like nothing else. I don't care how many national championship games I see in my life. Nothing will feel to me like that. The nerves of the first series of the game every year in those two uniforms. And honestly, I love when Ohio State wears alt uniforms. I hate it in the game. I like to see those traditional uniforms. Urban always wore alts. It used to drive me nuts. Why can't we do this in another game? Kids like them. I get it. They played whatever. Hey, they went undefeated. Go ahead. But what I would really love to see and what I've been pressing for, and the only thing that you need to get this approved, Deb, is the visiting team needs to agree and the conference needs to say that there is enough contrast between the two jerseys and you can have a color on color game. And wouldn't you love to see the blue and the scarlet jerseys going at it? It would be amazing. They do it with UCLA, USC. I really want to see it.
Yeah. So what is it this year? We're wearing white, right? Are we wearing the white tops with what pants we wearing? White?
Gray.
Well, gray. That's what I thought.
They flip it up. I haven't heard anything about a surprise.
And what jerseys are they coming in? They're blue jerseys, right?
Yeah, they'll probably be monochromatic with the blue pants, which, you know, in the 90s, they always wore the yellow pants with the blue tops, which I like better. I think that's their traditional look, but they do the all blue now.
Yeah. No, dude, I would love to see scarlet and blue on the field. That'd be awesome. That'd be pretty awesome, man. That'd be awesome. Well, dude, you know, this time last year.
Oh, I got another story, Dev. Hold on.
Yeah, I got to hear it.
All right.
I like the treadmill story, so keep them coming, man.
so to this rivalry, and you wouldn't understand it unless you were from Ohio. The other day, it was over the weekend, I get this email from this lady from CNN. And she's like, hey, I'm a publicist from such and such and this guy, he's a host at CNN and he likes to come on your show. And I feel like it's some kind of spam deal. I'm like, what? Yeah. Talking about CNN. And I humor it, right? I answer her back and she's like, no. His name's Phil Mattingly. He's the chief domestic correspondent at CNN. And he is a former Buckeye baseball player. And he really loves your show. He wants to come on. And I'm like, man, I don't do politics. I don't know about all this.
Yeah.
But sounds like a decent contact to make. So I'm like, all right, we'll do it. And then I'm thinking, how big of a Buckeye fan is this guy really? Like, am I gonna have to dumb it down? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like if I was talking to, I don't know, my cousin or something, doesn't really get in the weeds like us. And she's like, there's just one thing, like, I need to be able to be there too. I'm like, what do you mean? Like sit in the green room? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. So I'm sitting here doing the show with dude, and it turns out he knows everything. He's all up.
Saw that.
He's a diehard. But she's sitting, Devin, in the green room just watching us. Okay. So she's in the green room watching us, and I don't know why. Like there was no list of things I couldn't ask or anything. And she's watching, and I can see her face at times as we're talking, like, these dudes are nuts, man. What are they talking about?
bro, dude, that would be weird. That'd be weird energy, bro.
Yeah,
Because sometimes when I put the link in the chat and people come on,
right.
right,
And they're down there.
and they're down there, it makes me feel weird. I'm like, oh dang, bro, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, yeah, dude, that'd be. Why was she in there? Why? What did that change? Did she explain
Well,
why?
that's the thing. Like, I could see if it was like maybe they had a list of things like these are topics we would rather you not talk about or something.
Yeah,
But there was none of that. There was no questions that were off base or anything, because what I had done beforehand was I went on his Instagram and I saw that at the I think the Texas game, he was with Urban Meyer and they were like in the green room with Big Noon Kickoff. And then I saw he had his kid on there in a picture with Portnoy. So I'm like, I'll be darned, man. Is this guy buddies with Portnoy? So I had this question framed about Portnoy. And I asked him this question about Portnoy. And it turns out his son went and busted Portnoy's chops. And then at the end, they took a picture because I guess Portnoy was cool to him. So I was like, all right.
yeah,
But no, I wanted to test his merit on the Portnoy thing.
yeah. That's cool, man, dude. That's a good thing. I watched that show, that guy coming on. I was trying to figure out who that was, but knowing now, man, dude, this week it's wild. I mean, I'm sure you're the same way, but you know, all the videos I do, there's all kind of people watching, man. So you can tell that it's different in Buckeye Nation when it's time for this game, when it's this week. And last year about this time, I'm a little bit. It's like I'm a little nervous because I feel the same way I felt last year, but not really. And that's what I want to get into real fast. Last year, I had the most confidence in the world, right? My only hold up last year, I said this on the live stream, you probably did too, was dang, I hope Day doesn't do what he did. And he went and did it. So I think that's the question.
He did it.
I think that's the question now.
Yeah.
Is that Ryan Day still there? Because you watch the last 3 games, and obviously being a psycho like I am about the game, I understand the last 3 games of not airing it out. The run game, it was a scrimmage essentially. So I don't really put too much into that, thinking we're going to go into this game and have the same results, the same game plan that we had last year. I guess my question is to you that, do you really believe Ryan Day has changed so much that he's looking at this game different enough to handle business on Saturday?
You know, after the game on Saturday, when they interviewed him on the field afterwards, it was an interview that just made me feel like, it felt like, man, I don't feel the tenseness. And you know, honestly, this was a theory that I had before the Tennessee game. If this dude can go on and somehow win the national championship, I think that he'll have delivered something to the team, to the university, to the state, to Buckeye Nation that nobody can ever take away from him. And the next time he goes into that game, he will just have less pressure. Not because you know he won the game, but because he has delivered on something huge. And I've been waiting to pick up on those cues, and I think we saw it a little bit on the field. Today I went down to the Woody for the press conference, and it felt like he was so chill. He was laughing, he was giggling. Even asked about do we get our injury news from Caleb Downs' podcast, and he laughed. And like, that's something I don't feel like he would have laughed about in the past, but like, it was just such a chill demeanor. And what is our issue with him in that game? Our issue is he doesn't coach that game like any other game. He coaches it like it's something different. We just want him to be himself. And I feel like we are on our way to just seeing him be himself. And gosh, man, when we look at the way he's always kind of been bothered, it seems, about how people talk and what they say about him and things. And we can kind of feel that in the way that he hated the toughness narrative, right? He hated it.
Yeah.
Well, this year, he certainly does not seem to care about what anybody's saying about him. He doesn't care about Ohio State's scheduling stuff. He doesn't care about the points. He doesn't care about the slow play. He doesn't care about people saying you're not helping your dudes win the Heisman. He doesn't care about none of it. And that feels different. That feels different to me right there. So maybe it's just me trying to talk myself into it, but I think we're going to see Ryan Day from the playoffs last year rolling into this game. That's what I feel.
Yeah. That's what we need. And that's what I was about to say is, like, I guess the biggest, like, piece of evidence I would have towards Ryan Day's change is the playoffs last year. But if you take a step back and be like, well, what was our initial problem with Ryan Day to begin with? It was when in big games, in tight moments, he would punt it on our own 48 on 4th and 1, just like he did last year. When any other game, he's not doing that. How many times in the regular season has he went for 4th downs already this year, right? And been aggressive in certain calls, tried different things. So part of me is like, okay, well, we have the playoffs last year, and then we got the regular season so far where we really haven't been in a situation where that side of Day could even come out. You know, the Buckeyes have not been there. The defense is so good. The offense is so good that there hasn't been an opportunity like we had in the playoffs to see, hey, is that Ryan Day still here or not? But other than the things that you're bringing up, the way he carries himself, the way that he answers questions, the way that he's laughing, the different things that he's doing on the field, the way he's managing the players, all those things come into account. But the truth is, man, is we will find out. But it's just hard pressed for me to believe that after last year's game, there's no way. I mean, it had to have changed everybody involved in the program, because I know what it felt like as a fan. That was literally, and I'm sorry to bring it up again, but that was literally like worst case scenario for me. So just imagine how the coaches and players felt about that. So new Ryan Day going into this year, right? Going into this game, scum. They've lost 2 games. They lost to Oklahoma, lost to USC, scored 13 points against Oklahoma. They've had some close games, 24-22 Northwestern. Northwestern gave that game away. The USC game they lost felt kind of like a blowout. We've seen moments where they don't look too good, and then they go out and play Maryland, and they look decent. Bryce Underwood. So let's talk about them. On their side of the ball, what are you thinking? Bryce Underwood, how much is he coming along with you? Their offense compared to last year, their defense compared to last year. Just dive into the thoughts about them, their side of the ball, offense, defense. What are some things you're looking at?
This offensive line over there, I think, has improved. And, it's a young team. It's a young squad. And honestly, when we look at what they've done, it is a product of their schedule to get them to 9-2. They've had an easy schedule, that's for sure. But I think it's also pretty commendable. They didn't, like USC last year, slip up and lose a bunch of games they shouldn't have. So they won all their games. They did what they were supposed to do. And I feel like, have been improving as the year's gone on. I certainly feel like that offensive line has. I feel like Bryce early on was just rocket ball. Everything was a rocket ball. And in the last couple of games, I've seen him kind of layer some balls into the second level. And it feels like he is getting a little bit of rapport, obviously, with Andrew Marsh. That kid's looking really good, like a future star. So we're seeing that. But Jordan Marshall, who's been a stud, I don't think he's going to be 100%. I think he's going to play. I think Sharon said he's going to play. And honestly, he's not that dynamic of a back anyway. He can do a little something. But, dude, how do you run on these Buckeyes if I'm going to make you – and obviously we're going to see this. They're going to make him show that he can beat them with his arm and take that run away. And – I just don't think he's going to be able to do that too often. Like, yeah, they'll get some, they'll get theirs, but how much can they get? What is their ceiling of points they can score? And on the defensive side of the ball, these guys, Dev, they gave up 224 rushing to USC, and they gave up 270 passing to Oklahoma. Like the two decent teams they've played, they gave up another 265 passing to USC. Like these two offensively tore these guys up. And, USC can play some offense. Oklahoma can't really. They've been terrible all year. As a matter of fact, that was John Mateer's best game of the year was against them. And everybody thought he was a Heisman guy. He hurts his hand, and they say he's never been the same. I don't think it's that. I think he's had a great game against them, and he's really not that good. But I just honestly, if we are taking all the emotion out of it, all the past trauma last year and everything, and all the weirdness from Ryan Day in that game, and just saying like, all right, just judge this team and pretend they don't have that logo against Ohio State, and I'm picking 34-17. Like that's where I'm going here, and I think that's very logical.
Yeah.
But of course, we got to add in all the emotion. Makes it different.
Yeah, it definitely does. And I'm right on par with you. I thought about this the other day. Like you take emotion out of it, to me, it would feel like, hey, we're playing a Washington caliber team, right? Mm-hmm. In my opinion, that's kind of how it feels to me. When we were going into this Washington game, I was not really concerned we were going to lose. Matter of fact, I won a bunch of money that game because I took the spread. But anyway, thank you, Buckeyes, for that. That's what I'm looking at here. Bryce Underwood has the ability to get out with his legs, but our defense, if you look at last year and you ask, okay, what side of the ball really got us last year? It was their defense, if you had to pick one. Well, this year, their defense is nowhere, doesn't even touch where they were last year. I mean, in my opinion anyway, that's what we're looking at here. Not really concerned about how many points is their offense going to put up against this defense with what Matt Patricia has done this year on the defense. So they're going to do their normal thing. They're going to, this year, you don't know how many times I've watched them keep running. And then what do they have? 8 runs over 40 yards this season or something like that. So they always end up busting a long run. They did it last year to us. They did it the year before. So that's kind of their game plan. They always sneak that tight end out. They always get us on one of those plays on a 3rd and short or 4th and 1 or something, sneaking the tight end out. But with what the Buckeyes are doing this year, like I said, it's kind of like last year. I just don't see a way that their defense is going to be able to stop us. Like when you talk about the Buckeyes game plan, right, for this, there was this thing out there about the team that wins the rushing battle wins this game. And statistics show that. That's been a thing. That's always confused me a little bit because most of the time when you get up on a team, you end up start running the ball more, and it ends up you're rushing more. If you get up a lot, it's probably because you're beating them over the top, down the middle. They got to spread their defense out, which allows you to start rushing more. So there's a lot of variables.
And when you're down, right, you abandon the run. Yeah. So, yeah, a ton of variables.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So that's like the part of this thing where I was like, and then there's always that Buckeye fans are like, man, I wonder if Ryan Day gets so stubborn with this run game. But to me, it's the pass game. I don't think there's a defense in this country that if we literally wanted to pass the ball every single play with JJ, Carnell, Max Clare, I'm not sure how they're able to stop us with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure how they're able to stop that. They're obviously going to try to pressure Julian Sain a lot. That's what Wink does all the time. That's what he's going to do. But luckily, Max Clare, we saw in Rutgers, he's able to get the ball out fast to him and able to get over 100 yards receiving, first time since 2013 for a Ohio State Buckeye to do that. So there's just a lot of things about this game, when you dive into, okay, how can we attack their defense? How can we attack their offense? I have a hard time finding an area other than the emotional part of the game, right, where they can beat us, where they have a chance. Am I right in saying that the only chance they have is for these Buckeyes to be so like emotionally off of just playing their normal game and what they do? Like, do you think Bryce has a chance to beat us with his legs, with his arms? Do you think their secondary has a chance to shut down our wide receivers? Like, where are you at with that?
So when we look at Damon Williams, if, in my opinion, obviously a crazy twitched up athlete, if Arvell Reese at his size can spy Damon Williams and shut him down, there is no quarterback in college football that he can't do that to. Now you could say maybe a linebacker who isn't quite as strong, Bryce might be able to run him over. That's not happening with Arvell, and he's certainly not getting out of his grasp or twitching him out like Damon Williams could. So if that becomes an issue, then you put Arvell spying him and you sacrifice him in that way, but it shuts that down. He's not going anywhere. Like, that's just not happening. On the offensive side of the ball, Dev, when we look at how good these running backs are catching the ball out of the backfield, every single one of them catches the ball out of the backfield well. When we look at a couple games ago, when Julian was just checking down to Bo over the middle and Isaiah, and they were just turning and hitting 15. That short game and quick game to make sure that Julian stays clean. And unfortunately, that'll probably result in a lot. I think we'll see a lot more CJ Donaldson for protection in the backfield than I would want to see, but it is what it is. At least he can catch two on those check downs, though he's just whatever. I'm not going to get into it with him. But
yes, we know.
The quick
I
game,
have gotten into it several times about him, but
the
anyway.
quick game is like, and Jeremiah's so good on it. Carnell's so good, smooth yards after catch now. Like, I don't think you even need to go deep until they start cheating, and then you just smash them. But you could just honestly just paper cut them to death. They can't stop that. I really don't think they can stop that. What I don't want to see is running I don't want to see this game played at the tortoise pace that we've been playing at all year, because the less possessions in this game, the better Michigan's odds are. All it takes is a couple of turnovers, and they're magnified if each team's only playing 8 possessions. If we get up to 11 possessions, you can turn the ball over twice, and you're still going to be okay. So that's kind of my biggest fear, is this turtle pace against a team like this, who wants to play slow, run clock, limit possessions. That's their goal. That is their goal. Don't play into that, which has essentially been the MO all year. And if they don't do that, and this stuff isn't in their head, and they're just playing our athletes versus their athletes in a normal coach game with a game plan that's, mixing it up, but making sure that Julian's safe with the ball and taking his check downs. I just, like I said, I think it's 37-14, 37-17 all day.
Yeah. Yep, I do as well, man. Obviously, right, in this YouTube world, it's, people have sources, people talk, people try to find out, hey, what's going on inside the locker room? What's the Buckeyes game plan, right? What I have gathered from those conversations I've had, I have not talked to Ryan Day or Brian Hartline, right? I've talked to some people close to the team. That's what they talk about. They talk about the Buckeyes have been practicing and have been preparing for this game with tempo, with getting pressure on their quarterback, containing the quarterback. The biggest thing that I see is, do you remember the Wisconsin game plan where they kind of turned Julian saying loose with the RPOs, allowed, it was his biggest passing thing? That's the game plan I want to see when we come out. I don't think that can be stopped. If we allow Julian that freedom to read those RPOs, those quick out routes like you were talking about to JJ and Carnell, how many times have we seen how easy those are for these guys, right? Because the corners, they've got to play back or they're going to get beat over, and they're so far back, those quick out routes are there all day long. But obviously, the big question, Juck, I even still see some people in the chat right now talking about, hey, Carnell Tate is not playing. I'll start off by saying, again, in this world where we have sources, we reach out and we talk, I've been told by multiple people, in fact, JJ, like, I said this on Monday, he is playing in the game for sure, without a doubt. The dude's playing. He came out on the Downs to Business show and he said, I should be good to go. You know what I'm saying? I keep getting told he's good to go. I was told Carnell Tate is playing in this game. That is the whole reason they rested him these last 3 games, is so he could be prepared for this game. What are your thoughts there, man? What are you hearing? What's your feeling based off of everything that's been going on
Yeah.
with what people are reporting?
Well, I mean, you go from Carnell warming up, right? And in warm-ups, it doesn't feel quite right. So let's not play him to in street clothes the next week. And now we're talking literally, they said, let's not press it, wait a whole month till the game and just sit him. And then everything should be cool by then. Here we go, roll into the game. Carnell's fine. Carnell's playing. Jeremiah did not further his injury per Ryan Day in the UCLA game. That's the game he was limping after. He was asked, did he further that injury? No, he didn't. Which tells us what? It tells us he came into that game with that injury and it didn't get any worse, which tells us it's not an injury that can be worsened on the field, which tells us if you're a Warrior, you're playing, and we already know he's a Warrior, so he's playing. Point blank, they're both playing.
Yeah. You know, man, I was listening to one of your shows and I thought about all these things. You know, I've just been point blank told by people that would know. They're not Ryan Day, but they're going to know whether these guys are playing or not. I keep getting told they're playing, but you brought up something. It's like, okay, well, we just watched the Rutgers game. You would think that if our two star wide receivers are not playing, that they would have tried to implement a game plan to get some experience on hey, what are we going to do without these guys? Right. Let's get Quincy Porter in there. Let's get whoever else it is. What are we going to do? And we only, through 13 passes to wide receivers, attempts to wide receivers, seven. Yeah, that doesn't look like a team that is preparing to go without their two-star wide receivers. So
the biggest giveaway ever.
Yeah, I've been on that same bus as well. Another thing, man, shout out to you with the Bo Jackson stuff. You were one of the first ones to get on that train and be like, yo, Bo Jackson needs to play. That dude is an absolute future star. Dude's a beast. Love to see James Peoples coming on as well. I think James Peoples at this point with the momentum is kind of up there with Isaiah on that who's the number 2 back on this team, even though I'd probably still go with Isaiah. I really like what I see out of him in the short yards and everything, really. But it's nice to have 3 backs now that I think are picking up a lot of steam in that. JUCK, one of the conversations here recently, and I'll get you out of here after this, offensive line, JUCK. Tegra, right guard. Josh Padilla was coming in and out. Josh Padilla was injured. I was also told he's going to be playing in this game, but we'll wait and see. We'll know the answers on Saturday. So they rotated Gabe Van Sickle in and out. It's been a lot of argument back and forth on, is this offensive line performing good? Are they not? We watched the Rutgers game. We rushed for over 200 yards. I know it was Rutgers, but we still rushed for over 200 yards. I think the offensive line looked very good. I am pleased with where the offensive line is at. Can we get better? Yes, we can get better. Do I think Tegra maybe needs a little help in there with consistency? I wouldn't mind seeing Josh Padilla in there more if he is healthy. But give me your take on the offensive line. How do you think these guys hold up in the scum game? And do you expect to see some rotation at right guard?
You know, like you, there is part of me that is like, all right, let's not get wrapped up too much with UCLA and Rutgers. They are like number 90 and number 130 in rush defense. However, when it comes man-to-man and when it comes to the offensive line, what we had been seeing in the Wisconsin game, in the Purdue game, were a boatload of mental errors. And we did not see those. Those were all cleaned up. The mental errors will kill you. As far as like just mano a mano, these guys can get it done. The only one who's ever had an issue with that, once in a while a guy gets beat. But Tegra is a guy that consistently bends at his waist, reaches, and gets beat like that. And I think that they've found and they believe that when he gets tired, and he gets tired more than most of them, he gets lazy. He gets lazy in his fundamentals, and it leads to busted plays. So if we can spell him, then let's spell him. And Gabe in game 1 had a bunch of mental errors, couldn't pick up a stunt. And he came in, didn't do so hot last game, had a really good stretch against UCLA. But if Padilla is back, ready to roll 100%, Padilla absolutely got to come in and spell him for a good 25 plays. That's where I'm at with it, because I think that Padilla at 100% is his floor is where Tegra is right now. I think he's a leverage monster. Obviously he's quite a bit smaller than Tegra, but he's strong. He's a wrestler. He gets it. I like a real mobile guard like that who can move, and he certainly can. And Tegra, on his pulls, he consistently will whiff a guy. It's just like, it drives me nuts. But at the same time, I'm like, man, this dude started now 27 games for Ohio State. And it almost feels like I hate to hate on him. He's such a nice guy, but it's almost like, man, enough is enough already if you got a better option. And I feel like Padilla was on that route until he got, like, if he hadn't gotten hurt, I think he'd probably be eaten into, well, let's see, against, I think it was UCLA, 44 snaps for Gabe Van Sickle and 24 for Tegra. It was like way staggering for Gabe.
It was. Yeah.
And I think that would have been Padilla, and we probably would be seeing that this week if Padilla hadn't gotten hurt. But yeah, I think we'll see it. But as a unit, I believe they're coming along, and I think they're getting better. Just like last year. Remember last year? They had bad games towards the end of the year. It wasn't until the playoffs that they started really clicking. And I feel like they're right on that same pace. The bottom line is you got some great leaders. You got a great left tackle. The left side you can bank on, you got a great center, and Phil Daniels, inconsistent as hell sometimes, but man, as a run blocker, he's a road grader. The pass blocking, it's going to be interesting. That'll be a real test this week. I think if he can get through this test without giving up a lot of pressures or sacks, it'll be big time as we look moving forward. But no, I feel good about it all in all. I really do.
Yeah. It gets a little tricky for me. I'm curious to see if you agree with this or not, because when you look at the schedule, Texas, first game of the year, we knew the game plan coming in was a very simple. The number one goal was don't turn the ball over, right? That's all it was. Just win the game, don't turn the ball over. Didn't see anything flashy. Since then, we haven't come up against an opponent where this team needs to come out firing on all cylinders, where these coaches, these coordinators need to come out dialing up the best things possible, right? The past 3 games has felt like scrimmages. So part of me has kept believing, hey man, when it's time, right, to utilize the best scheme for this offensive line and for this offense to move at a better, more consistent pace than they're moving now, they'll do that. Same with defense. When it's time for Matt Patricia to turn up the pressure on the quarterback and do different things, we'll do that. We haven't needed any of that. We have simply been able to go out on talent alone and win these games, every game we've played, in a very dominant fashion. One of my biggest pieces of evidence is last year. You cannot tell me that the regular season Buckeyes last year look anything like the playoff Buckeyes last year. They do not. Offensively and defensively, I think things looked way different. We had 7 sacks in the Rose Bowl, and we saw the aerial attack in the Tennessee game. Like, things just looked way different. Do you see, last question, Juck, I promise, I see you probably got somebody tap on your shoulder saying, hey, Dad, or somebody, it's time to get off this show, dude. But anyway, are you feeling that? Do you think we're going to see some different things coming in starting this game? Do you think it's time where we're going to start pulling out some of these things that maybe the coaches have been just practicing, not playing, and they've utilized for moments like this?
One thing I want to add to what you said, I don't think that, and this is not any fault of Ohio State's, but I don't think the way this is set up with Penn State falling apart has been advantageous to Ohio State, with it being so long since they've played a game that they had to get their juices flowing for, and that would be all the way back to the Illinois game. I don't think that this has done them any favors to have this long of a stretch with this many 20-point to 30-point favorite games. But on defense, without a doubt, they have totally shut everything down. They've gone totally vanilla and just based defense and smothered everybody. They haven't done a thing. None of the stuff we saw earlier that they got reps in to practice it so we could, We got to show it. We got to see if they can do it on the field. All right, they can do it all. Shut it down. We don't need it.
Yeah.
Base defense. We're not putting anything else on film. They'll see it in the playoffs. So with you 100% there. On the offensive side of the ball, there's part of me that feels like Ryan Day talks about, and so much of this for me is tempo. Every time we've seen them pick it up a little bit, they looked absolutely unstoppable, but they haven't done it much. And he has talked about this being, it was kind of the goal to be slow and risk it, shorten the season and less plays. But now it's become kind of just a habit of what we do. We huddle and the guys are used to it. And when he started talking about that, I started getting a little nervous because when you click that button, is it going to work or is it going to be herky jerky? Because when you click it, you need it right now, Dev. You need it now.
Yeah.
And they haven't tried it, and they haven't gone about practicing it. And I do have some reservations about that. If it's late in a 2-minute drill, they've executed one flipping 2-minute drill all year, Dev. One.
Yeah.
And that makes me somewhat concerned. And again, a product of the schedule and not having a decent competition for 5 weeks. But it was, what was it? The end of the first half against Penn State might have been the first 2-minute drill we saw them execute the entire year. And they executed it. They did it. But that's the only thing I'm concerned about. But yeah, I totally agree on the defense without a doubt. They haven't done anything. And we're about to see a swarm on Saturday. It's going to be mad, dude. I love it. I can't wait.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I've had the same reservations offensively when I keep telling myself, hey, we're going to open up. But it's like, can we? Can we without doing it? You saw a little tempo in the Wisconsin game, which gave me a little bit of hope that, hey, these are the coaches trying to implement this a little bit. But is it enough? Did we do it enough? Did we practice it enough? I always keep falling back on just trusting the coaches. I guess in this particular game, they haven't earned our trust yet, but I'm going to go ahead and trust them. He won a national title last year. And more importantly, we don't really have an option also. So we can choose to be, you can choose to be negative Nancy about it, or we can choose to be positive. I choose the positive side, man. I think these Buckeyes, Ryan Day, they're going to roll in here. They're going to take care of business, man. These guys are pumped up. They don't need any motivation. This scum team has done something beautiful for us. And they have loaded up the magazine for these players and these coaches with all kind of ammunition to use as motivation. I mean, if they need, I played a couple Bryce Underwood clips yesterday on the phone. He himself has given a lot of ammunition that we can play on a loop in the locker room, that these players, by the time they roll out there, they're probably not going to want to play football. They're probably just going to want to rip some heads off. And I'm fine with that mentality coming in this game. Juck, thank you so much for coming on the show, bro. You got any final words for Buckeye Nation?
Yeah, man. Sometimes we nitpick in our observations, and that's just because perfect is the standard. You can never get there. I wouldn't trade places with anybody in the world. We got the best damn team in the land, and we're looking at a 34-17 victory on Saturday. This damn streak ends. And when it does, Ryan Day will have completed a perfect 365 days, guys. A perfect 365. From the end of the game last year through the playoffs, all the way wrapping around, a perfect 365. Going to be amazing. Cannot wait for it.
I'm stoked too, man. Just to let you know, I got 38-14 Buckeyes. That is my score prediction as well. But Juck, bro, thank you for coming on, man. Guys, go check out Juck. I'm sure you already do, but go show him some love over there. Juck, we'll catch you next time, brother. Go Appreciate Buckeyes, it. OH.
I-O.
There you guys have it, man. Juck does great content over there on his channel. You guys already know who he is. You probably already check him out. If you don't, go check him out. Couple things real fast, guys. If you haven't hit the like button, do it. If you haven't hit the subscribe button on this Buckeye Boys channel, I normally stream on Scoop and Buckeye Boys tonight only on the Buckeye Boys channel. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button for me. And I am getting stoked for Friday, and you guys should be as well. Let me pull this up for you. This is the lineup so far, all right? So Hate Week Banter Live this Friday from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. These guys on the list so far will be coming on different increments for different lengths. Some people coming on for 5 minutes. Some people will be on for 30 minutes. It gets a little wild. It gets a little crazy. The chat is open. Everybody will be in there from every team. The only rule is no personal attacks. On the Buckeye fam side of it, obviously Nevada Funky B-Moses are going to be on. Ohio's Tate from Barstool is going to stop on. Brady Edmonds is going to be on here to get the side of a recruit. Daniel Sanchez, Duke Pettyjohn, parents of 2 5-star Buckeyes, going to get them on, get their takes from the parent side. From the national perspective, we have the one and only beloved Justin Spiro. Buckeye fans, you know who that is. You're going to want to stay tuned. And also Intrinsic, I'll tell you right now, I'm messaging back and forth with Intrinsic. He's stoked. He's stoked to come on the show. He's got some stuff to say. Sports Talk Jay is going to be joining us as well. Covers more of the SEC. He is also very stoked to come on. He's like, dude, thank you so much for emailing. I really have some things to say. He is all screw scum, the cheating, all that. He's fed up with it, man. Dalton Wasserman from PFF had him on the show before. He's going to dive into both these teams, compare each team for us from a PFF perspective, really give us a breakdown. And from the other side, man, Maze Madman's going to come on. Believe it or not, I reached out to a lot of people from the other side, and I don't know why they don't want to come on. So I don't know if they're scared of that smoke or what it is, but let's show some respect to Maze Madman. At least he's going to come on here. Yes, he's going to say several things that's going to make you guys mad, but at least he's coming on, guys. He's going to give us his perspective. College football with Sam, more of a national perspective, but he is a scum fan, so I'm sure he'll be leaning that way. He will probably talk very candidly about what he thinks. I wouldn't be surprised if he picks the Buckeyes to win, but I went ahead and threw him in the opponent's side of this as well. So there's the lineup for Friday. I need you guys to do me a favor right now while you're on the show. Go to my X account. I posted this graphic on my X. Please go repost it. Please go reshare it. Put it everywhere you can. Instagram, the whole 9 yards. There's going to be several $50 giveaways during the show. Several trivia about this matchup. So study the history of this rivalry game. I'm at least going to ask for. There'll be at least $200 given away during this live stream. So if you want to get rich and retire, make sure you watch, because if you put that $200 in a Fidelity cash account, you will earn a 4.9% interest. If you keep it in there for at least 200 years, you might be close to hitting $1 million. So I've just figured out all your guys' financial burdens for you in one episode. You're freaking welcome. Nah, you guys know I'm just playing with you. But hey, guys, I don't really know what else to say, dude. I am literally so stoked. And this week has seriously changed my perspective on this game. What they did to this rivalry, they disrespected it. They spit in the face. But I can't help but feel my emotions about this game. Very important game. Very excited. My excitement is at the level that it was for the national title game. And those are two very different things. I understand that, but it's just the reality of it. I'm excited, just like I was to go watch the Buckeyes in the national title game. It is what it is. That's how I feel as a Buckeye fan. Take that for what it is. It is what it is. But guys, thank you so much for watching the show. Thank you so much for coming on over to the Buckeye Boys channel. The rest of the week, I will be on Scoop and the Buckeye Boys channel simultaneously. So don't worry about that. You'll be able to catch me on both of them. But on that note, guys, I appreciate you. Love you guys. Go Buckeyes. OH.